Hello, my lovely learners. You're once again welcome to our virtual learning class. Today we have integrated science. Integrated science, and we are looking at the topic under our diversity of matter. Diversity of what? Of matter. But today we are going to look at what? The aspect under the diversity of matter, living and non-living things. Okay, living and non-living things. Learn that matter. When we talk of matter, matter it refers to everything that do what exists. Okay, anything that exists that has mass and what volume, that has weight, and it can also what occupy space is what matter. So anything that exists have weight and it can also do what occupy space. Okay, good. So when we talk of living things, we are now looking at what living and what non-living things. But today we are going to talk based on what living things. Okay, good. Now before we continue, let's look at the objectives. Okay, now at the end of the lesson, we should be able to explain what living thing and give some examples of what life processes. Okay, at the end of the lesson, we should be able to what explain what a living thing is, then give some examples of what life processes. Okay, very good. Now let's continue. So living things are things that perform what life processes. Living things are things that do what perform life processes. Okay, very good. When we talk of life processes, things that you do to show that you have what life in you. These are what we refer to as what life processes. Okay, very good. Now let's continue. So what is life processes? There are some things that a living thing can do, and there are some things that non-living things cannot do. So the things the living thing can do by itself are what refers to as what life processes. Okay, very good. Now let's look at the classification of our living things. We're talking about living things, living things. Now living things are put into two main groups. Okay, living things are put into two main groups. That are we have plants and what and animals. Okay, very good. Plants and animals, they come together to form living things. So when we are talking about living things, we are only talking about plants and what animals. Okay, though there are some plants that are not living, and at times there are some animals that are not what living. But when we are talking about living things, we are basing our what lesson on plants and what animals. Good. Okay, so now let's look at some life processes. Okay, we say life processes are what things that show that you are what a living thing. Okay, good. But when we look at life processes, they are what basic essential activities performed by what living organism. Basic essential activities performed by what living organism. Okay, things that once you are a living thing, you have to what do to show that you have what life in you, show that you are what a living thing. So if you are not able to perform this life process, it means you are not what a living thing. Okay, very good. So now let's start looking at the life process. So life processes are the basic or essential activities performed by what by a living organism. Life processes are the basic essential activities performed by what a living organism. Okay, all the essential activities performed by what by living organism. Okay, is what is what good. Okay, let's continue. Is a life process, okay? Anything that you do to show you are hot, you are a living thing. Things that you do that show you are hot, a living thing is what? Is a life process, okay? It's a life process. It's a life process. Very good. Okay. Now let's continue. Let's look at the life processes. One is what? Movement or locomotion. Okay? Movement or what? Or locomotion. Now, when we come to locomotion, that's the movement from what? One place to what? To another. So you can see that when it comes to locomotion, it refers to what? Only what? Animals. Okay? Or when it comes to movement self, that is what? The ability of living organism to move its entire body. Okay? So when it comes to the entire body, we are referring to what? Animal. Because animal move its entire body from one place to another. Or part of what? Its body. That is what? Plant. Okay? You can see that you can't see a plant walking. When you see a plant walking, then you have to call God to come in. Okay? But we can see that when we grow plants very small, let's say your mango plants you have in the house, you see that first when you already brought it to the house, it's very small. But for some years it has grown tall. So it is showing some kind of movement, and it is moving upwards. Okay? That is what? Movement. Okay? It's moving part of its body. Or at times when the wind is blowing, you can see that the leaves are all showing actions, right? The leaves are moving up and down. It's showing movement of part of its body. Good. Then the number 2 says on nutrition. You know, all living things do what? Eat food. Okay? You eat food, your puppy eat food, your pussycat will do what? Eat food. That shows that they are all living things. So that is what the actual living organism takes in food into its body. So when you are taking food into your body, that is when you are eating food, is what we call nutrition. Okay? It's what we call nutrition. So every living thing do what? Take in food. Plants, so they also have their food. They take some from the soil, then with the help of the sunlight and the chlorophyll, the leaf, that's the leaf, they are able to do what? To prepare their own food. After they are finished eating, they leave some down for us animals to go to eat. Okay? So plant is a living thing, animals are also what? Living thing. So we all do what? We all eat. Good. That is what? Nutrition. Nutrition. Then let's go to what? Reproduction. Reproduction. Good. You can see that the time your daddy brought the pussycat to the house is alone, very small. But for some time, you can see that the pussycat stomach become big. Then you get what? The small babies. Very good. That is what? Reproduction. Or maybe the first time your mommy give birth to you alone. You are alone in the house. Then before your mommy's stomach become big, then you had a small sister. Now you become 2. Now no more 1 again. Okay? That is what? Reproduction. So reproduction is the process where living organisms produce their young ones of their own kind by laying eggs or babies. Okay? By laying eggs or babies. You can see here. You see, this is what? Lizard with eggs. Chicken with eggs. The snail with eggs. Okay, very good. So for this one, they are laying they are producing their young one by laying egg. You can see that the chicken with eggs, for some time it will produce chicks. Okay, very good. Then look at this. Look at this. This one doesn't, they don't lay egg, but they give birth to their young one. That is, they give birth to their babies. You see, so they are producing. That's what we call reproduction. Okay, look at the pussycat, the kitten. Look at the kitten. Look at the dog. Look at the puppy, the small one. You see, well, that is what we call reproduction. Reproduction. Good. Now let's go to growth. Growth. Growth is what? The ability of organism to increase in size and what? And weight. Good. Let's look at this. For example, you can see that your small sister, the time when you only gave birth to her, you can use one of your arm to what? Raise her. But now she has grown to the extent that you can't even use just one of your arm to do what? To raise her. So you have to use your two what? Hands together or arms together to be able to do what? To raise her, which means that she has what? Grown. You see, look at your small sister and say, hey, now you are growing, it's because she has increased in weight and what? And size. Okay, let's look at this. You see, look at this. Look at the cup. You see, for some time they also grow and become big like their mommy. But look at the kid, the goat baby, the kid small, but it will also grow to become big. That is how the big one too is before it has grown big like that. Let's look at the chicken. Look at the chicks. Look at them, small. But look at the mommy. You see, this show they have grown. That is an increase in what? In size and weight. In size and what? And weight. Good. Then let's go to what? Excretion. Excretion. We are talking about life processes. So every living organism must what? Perform all these life processes to show you are what? Living. If you perform one, you don't perform one, there's something lacking. You perform all this to show you are a living thing. Good. Then excretion is the removal of metabolic waste from the body by living organism. Now when we talk of metabolic waste, it doesn't mean the wastewater you produce in the house and throw it into the gutter. No. Or maybe you visit the washroom, then your poo is not a metabolic or waste. When we talk of metabolic waste produced in the cell of our body. Okay? The cell of what? Our body. That is what we call metabolic waste. So excretion is the removal of metabolic waste from the body by living organism. From living organism. So when we talk of waste, they are poisonous to the body. When they are in the body, they make the body become sick, or it makes us not to feel well. Good. Let's move to what? Sensitivity or what? Irritability. Sensitivity or irritability. Good. So the sensitivity or irritability means what? The ability of living organism to respond to changes in its environment. The ability of living organism to respond to the changes in its environment. Okay. Now let's look at this. You are playing outside. Then all of a sudden, you see that the ground become very dark. Then it started raining. What do you do? What will you do? You see that everybody will start running to what? To their home. That's what changes in the environment. When you are playing, the weather is clear. But the moment the weather becomes or the cloud becomes dark and it started raining, there is what change. So you have to go out, run. Let's say you have stepped on what? You have stepped on a fire. How do? You remove your leg fast. You are responding to the change. First when you step on the floor, there's no change there, so you are able to start there. But the moment you step on the fire and the fire burns you, you remove your leg fast. That is what you are responding to the change. That is what sensitivity or irritability. Or let's say somebody touch you, you are walking or you are standing there, then somebody touch you and you see that you turn to the person, you are responding to what? The change. Good. And the last one here is what? Respiration. So see the ability of organism to go to extract energy from the food it eats. Okay, the food we eat. When we are able to extract energy, the food we eat will give us energy, but there must be something done to the food before we get energy. That's what we call respiration. So that we get the energy from the food we eat. Very good. So what are we learning today? We are learning the life processes of what? of living things. So what activity that every living organism must perform to show that is a living thing. Okay, very good. I'll urge you to study hard at home, and to meet again. I say bye bye.